What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Blood on the Razor Wire TV, where we bring it to you real and we bring it to you raw. Today, we got a guest on that's been through a lot of things in his life. He was in prison with his father. He was actually, I believe, cellies with his dad in state prison. Eventually, his dad would go on to Big Sandy. This brother would go home. His father would hit him up, ask him to help him out with getting contraband into the prison. Brother agrees. I mean, all this stuff's over with now, and, it's in legal documents, whatever. And then his father does something that people can't even understand. His father was a gang member. He was the head of security in Big Sandy for a certain individual. And then, you know what? I'm going to let this brother tell his story because he can tell it better than I can. But I want you to know, when you're watching this video, when he hit me up and we talked on the phone, he told me something, man, that hit a chord. And I think it'll hit a chord with a lot of people. He goes home from prison and gets diagnosed with cancer. And he told me something on the phone today that just hit me, man, where I was like, wow, man, it's Christmas time, it's Thanksgiving. He says that he don't know how he's going to tell his son that, he has pretty much terminal cancer and he's not going to make it. How do you tell a 5-year-old that? And his biggest fear is, who's going to take care of his son if he's not here? So, brother, tell the people who you are, where you're from, and let's talk a little bit about you and your story.
My name is Damian. They call me D. I'm from Beloit, Wisconsin. Long story short, ended up getting probation for, as a 16-year-old, we broke into a bar with some friends and stole some liquor. Get probation for that. I decided to move away. I go 200 miles north. I meet this girl. Her legal guardian ended up being a crackhead, stealing stuff from us, her jewelry, whatnot, anything that he could. Me and my friends decided to lump him up. He called the cops saying that we took something out of his pocket, so they ended up charging with armed robbery. Obviously, I get revoked on probation. I get a plea deal of 90 days of jail if I gave up to 2 individuals with me, or take the other deal, which in return I didn't give up no names. I thought keeping my pride would, be the best benefit, and they gave me 3 in, 3 out with 9 months added to that. I get to prison. They send me to a youth prison called Ryoc. I ended up maxing out and then going to Waupun, maximum. From there, I go to Stanley, which is a medium max. Ended up being that's where my father was. And they put me in the same unit as him at first, and then we ended up being cellies from there.
Let me ask you this, man. How old were you when you actually walked into the prison in the unit where your dad was at?
Just turned 18, but I was in reception and max when 17.
So you're going into prison at 17 years old, pretty much, a men's prison, right?
Right.
What's it like for a 17-year-old to be going into a man's prison? Were you scared? Were you nervous?
Scared to death. I didn't know what to expect. Everybody had their stories in the jails, and letters from my father from the past didn't sound good either. So, didn't know what to expect. Kept my guard up real high at all times, though.
How old was your dad at the time when you walked into prison with him?
Well, he's exactly 21 years older than me, so probably almost 40.
So he's about 38, 39 years old when you walk into prison.
Right.
Usually a father is, the one that takes care of his son, comforts him, tells him what to do at times. Hey, son, take out the garbage. Or, hey, come here, son, help mow the grass, right? And now you're in an environment where, usually kids look up to their dads. But now you're in an environment where people are telling your dad what to do, telling you what to do. What's it like as a son to be like, damn, man, these people are telling my dad what to do?
It's kind of degrading a little bit, too, to see that, and especially seeing grown men, not just the police, but people within the prison, grown men telling him what to do at a snap of a finger, too. But that's how it went.
And your dad was a gang member, too, right?
He was.
What gang did he run with?
He ran with the Royals out of Chicago.
Is your old man originally from Chicago?
Yeah.
So he's running with the Royals, and you're there in prison with him. How much time do you guys do together?
I think it was only 18 months.
18 months. Who leaves first, you or your dad?
I left, but then I came back on a violation. I was in a minimum. Then I came back again and then was with him, and then he got transferred to the feds. The marshals came and picked him up.
So your dad's doing 18 years in the feds, 18 years in the state. What was that for?
It was an indictment on conspiracy to make and deliver methamphetamine. It was nothing.
So you end up getting out of prison, but now your dad's in federal prison, right? Dad gives you a call. What does he ask you to do?
So then he tells me to get an LLC and whatnot, and basically people could order stuff on Amazon, and then inside would be allegedly Suboxone and whatnot.
So your dad has you allegedly sending Suboxone into USP Big Sandy, right?
Right.
Is anyone arrested over this? Is there an investigation? Is there paperwork?
There's paperwork. He got there was alleged violations on his federal paper, but when I got revoked, it was just part of the allegations into the revocation. Once you sign off, it's in Wisconsin, you can sign off on your own revocation, revoke yourself, and all allegations in there. They say they will not prosecute you if you sign off.
Won't prosecute you in the state, but they could have prosecuted you in the feds, and you don't know that at the time.
Yeah, statute of limitations done too, so yeah.
Was your dad looking out for you financially? You're making moves for him. Was he sending you money?
A little bit, but it was just doing it for love.
Now you're sending this stuff into the prison. How many times do you think you got it in? Now, the statute of limitations, for those that are viewing, you're good. Nothing, you can't be charged criminally, but I mean, how long did it take before they actually kind of got onto it or busted you?
Probably like 5 times, but then he told on himself. So.
Your dad told on himself?
Right.
How and why?
When he was taking the hormone shots, he checked himself in. Eventually, when he started...
Hold on. We got to stop it. Because the people watching right now are probably like, the hormone shots? What? Let's go there, and then we'll go to when he told on himself, all right? So your dad's in Big Sandy. He's running security for a very well-known gang member at the prison, right?
Right.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So he was very proud of his status, and he's one of them dudes you would never expect to flip, so to speak. Nobody, and especially throughout the state, would have expected it. I guess he was running security. After about 8 months, he decided to start taking hormone shots that the feds paid for. And then when he started, I guess, growing female organs, he checked himself in and then told on himself about the whole male thing to get himself into a camp so he'd be safe because he had a KOS on him.
Tell the people what a KOS is.
Kill on sight.
So your dad's part of this Midwest gang, right? He's a security member, and he's proud of his status. Don't you think that's sad when a father's in prison and he's happy and he's proud of, man, this is what I accomplished in life. I'm a gang member and I'm a security member at the prison protecting this guy who's a major gang member from getting hurt in prison. Isn't that shocking?
It's disappointing.
Disappointing for who? For a son? For everybody? For his mother? For who?
Right.
I mean, not right, but for everybody?
What do you mean?
I mean, how many people did he disappoint with that?
Oh, probably everybody in his life, completely.
I mean, did you look up to your dad when you were younger as like he's a tough guy, he's been to prison and...
Well, at first, we weren't allowed I wasn't allowed to talk to him or visit him. So when I saw him in prison, that was the first time I saw him since I was about 10 years old. Mm-hmm. At the time, I was young and ignorant, and I really looked up to it. I wanted to be just like it. And, very ignorant choices for sure.
Was your dad a gangster in the streets, so to speak?
He thought he was.
Well, I mean, how about through his actions? I mean, was he doing wild things out there? I mean, toting guns, living that gang life?
He was living that life, but, yeah.
I know it seems like it's hard for you to talk about, and I'm sure it is. So when you find out that your dad, you spent time with him in prison, you guys leave each other. Were you sad when you got separated? Like, damn, man, I might not see my dad for a long time.
Yeah, it actually it hurt really bad inside. And it was it was kind of hard to get over because then without him, I felt like anything could happen now. Um, it's pretty, it's hard to talk about too, but it's okay now. But sorry, man, I'm messing up. But you can edit that out.
We're not going to edit anything. It's real and it's raw, man. These are your feelings. These are your emotions.
Yeah.
This is how you feel. So how do you find out, though, that your dad, did all this stuff?
So when he was sending me money, people on the outside weren't hitting me up anymore, and he wasn't sending me letters. And he completely ghosted everybody. My grandma, his mom. We all thought he got stabbed. That was a rumor, everybody. And he ended up writing a letter explaining everything, that he changed his name. He's been taking shots from the feds this whole time. He said he was never really a gangster at heart. He was only trying to prove himself to other people his whole life. This wasn't the life for him. It never was, type thing. So, like, it kind of hurt thinking everything I kind of grew up knowing was a lie, type of thing. The person you look up to was a lie. All the things that came with it felt like a lie.
Are you in contact with your dad now?
No.
Do you know where he is?
Yeah, he's in a camp, probably safe and sound right now.
At like a state or federal level?
He's in the feds right now. He got revoked when he got out. He did his fed time, got out, and then got revoked again.
Let's talk a little bit about that. Your dad, he does his fed time. He comes home. And now he's, what was your dad's name? What's your dad's real name?
Antonio. They call him Sleepy.
Antonio. He comes home, and now he's who?
Mariah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So, this is one of the first times where I'm kind of stuck for words, but it is what it is. So dad comes home. His name's Mariah. Do you guys talk after he's made this transition and he looks like a woman now, or what happens?
He tries to show up where I was working, I guess, but I wasn't there, and
holy shit!
He tried to contact me through other people. He started selling drugs again, and ended up getting caught with more meth and a gun in his purse, actually.
In his purse?
His purse, man.
Holy shit! He's walking around with purses and everything. Listen, man, I'm not making, a joke of this or anything, because it's serious, man, and it hurts your feelings. And, I can see it. The viewers can see it. So he gets caught with a gun and more meth. Does he catch another case or just a violation?
Both.
How much time does he do on the new case?
I think he's only got 5 to 6 years now.
And he's in a camp somewhere. I wonder if he's ever going to change his life or his thought process.
I don't think so, man. I don't understand it. I don't understand how anybody could do what he did, so to speak.
Did you ever end up talking to him and let him explain himself, or?
So he tried to explain himself, but I told him I wasn't having it. It's just something that I can't get past. Just one of those things, I guess.
And you're at a point in your life where you've never gotten past it?
No. I don't think I ever will.
Sure is a different world, isn't it?
Really is.
So let's talk a little bit more about your personal prison experiences, right? After your dad gets shipped out, do people still respect you over there? Your dad hasn't, done what he's done yet, but are people, give you respect at the state prison? Do you have any trouble, anything?
So when I get to his prison, when I first meet up with my dad, he tells me, you're going to be running with us, but everybody wants you to go to school, get a job, don't be in with the politics. You're going to do your program and go home early. And that's what I did. But when I went in there, I didn't have I had the ignorant kid mindset. So I had a really disrespectful mouth, made drama up. So like, for example, I was walking the track one day. I saw a group of natives, and I ended up asking my dad, which he was with his people at the time, and said, why is this group of natives looking at me? They weren't even looking at me. They were looking at something completely different. So I made my drama their drama, which ended up causing a whole ordeal. Um, they ended up fighting over me, which caused more drama. The Kings ended up asking them if they could run up on me and take my shit and violate me for that, which wasn't happening. After that, I really learned the word respect and really how to uh, just really how to do time, I guess. And
Because you caused that situation, was there any type of discipline or anything for you? They take you in the cell, bing you up, anything like that?
I got put on the wall.
You got put on the wall. Tell the people what getting put on the wall is.
Depending on what you do, you get lumped up by the brothers and then you can't move for a certain amount of time.
So they put you on the wall and they just start binging you up a little bit.
Right.
Is your dad one of the people that are, putting the beats on you?
No, he's the one that picked out people to do it.
This is just mind-boggling, and I know people are watching this and they're probably shocked, amazed. You're in prison with your dad. He's a gang member. You violate the code of conduct, right? Prison. And what happens is your dad's involved in a prison gang / disciplinary infraction on his own son. Is that outrageous?
Yeah. It didn't make sense at the time, but I had no choice, really.
Of course you have no choice. You're in prison, and this is prison politics. But let me ask you this. What did it feel like to have to be disciplined? Or, a better question is this. Did you feel a sense of security that you could act tough with people because your dad was there, because your dad was a gang member?
So at first, yeah, that's what the problem was. I felt like I could have a mouth and have no repercussion from it, but soon we found out that wasn't the case. So.
And now you get out of prison. How long have you been out of prison?
I got out in 2018, the end of 2017. So.
The end of 2017, you come home. How old are you at the time?
22, I think.
Now, we know that when you got out of prison, you were making moves at Big Sandy and everything, but did your mind frame change at some point? Were you like, man, I really don't want to be doing this type of stuff. I don't want to be a criminal?
Yeah, when my son was on the way, things changed. But when I got out, I wanted to change my mindset. I still had the prison mindset, which was kind of hard to adjust back to normal, I guess. Like a lot of things still stick in my head from doing time, which I guess it kind of helps me out in the end, really. But I definitely wanted to change my ways. In prison, I saw a lot of people. Like my two favorite things in prison was there's a difference between a criminal and then there's a difference between a drug addict. In prison, wise, you could pick out the people type of thing. The other saying was, everybody wants what's yours and they want to keep what's theirs. So after doing time, it really changed my mindset because when I left where my dad was and he wasn't there, I went to a whole new prison where there was absolutely none of my people. And it was the roughest time I did between there and when I got out. And I learned a lot through that and a lot of life lessons.
Why was it the roughest? I mean, what happened? Did something happen to you there? Did you get beat up there? Did you get jumped on? Did you get your shit taken?
I got jumped on a lot, and especially it was a minimum, but everybody decided they wanted to gangbang a minimum, and in this minimum, it was a program to get out early, so you couldn't be in any BS type of thing. So if you went to your class with black eyes, they would send you off because you were in a fight. And they would purposely do that to trick you off, so you couldn't go home. And then every day since I was knowing my people were there, they took advantage of that and try to basically run on me every other day, really.
What gangs were jumping on you?
Mostly the Kings.
But why?
It wasn't really a lot. It was just, it was mostly the Kings and.
Would you fight back, or I mean, you just getting beat up every day,
I
or you?
mean, you got to, but it would be like stupid little one-on-ones type thing, and like vice lords would come in and just it would just be type of things where they would try to trick you off, basically, and you would have to fight back, but then they would want that.
So they don't want you to go home because it's a bunch of
Right.
youngsters, and they're like, you know what? We're gonna beat you up, man. You ain't going home. Back in the day in New York State prison, that's why you didn't tell people when you were going home because people would jump on you and get your date taken. I wanna talk a little bit about your life now, man, because this is really what's important. This is what the message really is today, right? We know your dad did some stuff. He embarrassed you. He made decisions that he felt he wanted to make. But this is bigger than your dad. This is about you. This is about your son. You come home from prison. You're diagnosed with cancer. What does it feel like when they tell you that?
Um, so I completed probation, parole, and then 2 weeks after, I ended up getting the diagnosis. Um, I felt completely, I pretty much no hope left, but I have to keep strong and for myself and my son at all times.
And how old is your son?
He's about to be 5.
He's about to be 5. I hear him in the background, right? Does he live with you?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you're his hero, man. Every little kid's father is their hero. And your story, like I said in the beginning, man, it hit me, man. It hit me because I got 2 little boys, and there's a bunch of fathers watching today, right? And when you love your kids, man, you don't never want to not be there. You're responsible, man, and you feel like, man, I got to protect them. I got to take care of them. I got to make sure they got food. I got to make sure they got a coat on. If I had to go work a job at McDonald's to take care of my kids, man, that's what I'm going to do. Not jeopardizing my freedom. But you're not in that situation. You're in a different situation where you kind of can't control what's going to happen. And you told me, what did you tell me was the hardest thing you'll ever have to do in your life?
Um, Trying to get past the fact, like, to your son, basically, you're not going to be there for him anymore in his life. You're not going to be there for his graduations, his weddings, for his first kid, anything like that.
Yeah. I can't even imagine what that's like, man. Um, Damn. What about family, man? You got family that are going to help out with your son if something, and I'm praying that nothing happens to you, man. I'm praying that somehow, man, they do something and you can beat this thing. But if something does happen, who's going to be there to take care of your son?
And she's going to be my wife.
What about your mom and your father's mom? Because you talked about your grandmother. Are they still around?
They are, but, we're not too close, and they got their own issues going on in life, too, so we're not in very much contact at all.
So your wife, your kid's mother, right? I mean, what, damn, I'm stuck for words, bro. I mean, what do you guys talk about? Do you guys talk about this? Do you dwell on it? Are you guys prepared? Are her feelings hurt? I mean, what's going on?
Um, we try not to talk about, the death that, could happen, but definitely not prepared. We try to take advantage of every day, cherish every day, make the most of it.
That's what's up. Are you making videos and stuff for your son?
Yep.
I encourage you to do that, man, every day. What about medical stuff, man? I mean, what's going on with the whole medical situation? I mean, are you doing chemo? I mean, you don't look too bad. I'm looking at you. You look all right.
So for the past, I've been battling this now. This is year 2. Um, I've tried 15 different chemos now, 2 different immunotherapies. The cancer turned into a pretty aggressive rare. It's Hodgkin's lymphoma, but it's a very aggressive type. Um, I've been having a lot of issues with my doctor. We ended up getting, a lot of arguments and just a lot of disagreements and whatnot. My only hope for a cure was stem cell transplant, and he called it off himself. I was ready to go in July. Um, he said that he just cut me off because I was on chemo still in July. He cut me off and just put me on immunotherapy, but the scans from 2 weeks ago showed it's back in my bones and it's all over my body again. So the immunotherapy is not working, and there's only one chemo option left, and they don't know if my body's going to be able to handle that. So there's an issue with that.
Is there a way to do the stem cell stuff, or is that over with?
So in order to do the stem cell, the doctor's got to agree to it, and you have to be low enough for you to go into the transplant. And they're worried that the last chemo option is not going to get me down to that level. But the doctor, he called off the transplant also because he said I wasn't following his orders, and he said I didn't have enough social support, financial support at home to get through it. Because it's about a 75-day process, and you got to stay at the hospital or around in town and whatnot. But he said I didn't have enough social support, so he called it off for that.
What does he mean, social support? You don't have financial resources?
Well, not just the money wise, but like he said, I don't have enough people at home to help me out. Enough people just around to help me through this. But it doesn't make sense. I think there's a lot more to it. But
well, maybe it's time to get a different doctor. Possibly is that possible?
I've been bouncing around all the states. Now I'm in Rochester, Minnesota, doing it. It's supposed to be the #1 hospital in the world, but I tried to get a new doctor, but they like 2 people with suits came in on my visit one day, and they said, "You're not getting a new doctor. We agree with what your doctor's doing." And I ended up having to get a medical attorney involved with some situations too.
Is the medical attorney helping you?
Yeah.
Are you working a job and stuff like that now?
No, they won't legally allow me to work, so they have me on temporary disability for that, which is nothing.
So things are probably a struggle over there, right?
Yeah, but it is what it is. It's going.
Let me ask you this. You got money for Christmas this year?
Sure.
Huh?
I should.
I'm asking you straight up, man. You got money to buy your boy some Christmas presents?
I should, yeah. I always try to make sure he's top priority, he's good.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, man. If you don't, it ain't a lot, but I'm willing to give you $350, man, to buy your son some Christmas gifts this year. We're going to do a giveaway anyway, but you're one of the people I want to have it.
Appreciate you.
I mean that, man. I'm gonna do that. That's what I want to do. So anyway, listen, man. You've been through it. I also want to offer, man, Blood on the Razor Wire TV, and I mean this from my heart, bro. Your story hit me, man. It's probably gonna hit some of the viewers. If something happens to you, right? I want to help. I want to help out your son, man. School clothes, things like that. I want your family to have my contact, and I'm pledging this, man, on, publicly. We got 87,000 subscribers. I want to help you, man. I want to help your son, and I'm praying nothing happens to you, but we want to be here and help out, man. All right?
Thank you.
I just can't even imagine. I got 2 little boys, man. I love them with all my heart, man. So I thought this was going to be a different type of interview, but man, I appreciate you coming on, and I want to, the last couple of times I've been kind of giving the message, but your message is all throughout this story, man. All throughout this story is that, tomorrow's never promised. If you're a father, man, let today be the day. If you're on the wrong path, man, fix it. Be a dad, man. Be a father. If you're a mother and you're on the wrong path, and I know it's easier said than done sometimes, but man, you might not have tomorrow. And you're in a situation where you might not have tomorrow, bro. And I deeply feel for you. And there's people out here that will have it tomorrow. And we got to do the best job we can with today and tomorrow. So I appreciate you coming on. Is there anything you want to say before we go? Because you reached out to me and said, Chad, this is my situation. I want to tell my story, man, because I feel like I might not have that much time left. So now's your opportunity to say what you want to say, man.
I don't do cameras very well, so I'm pretty nervous. You can tell I'm nervous, but it's just, I hope people learn off of my story. Really, like you said, tomorrow's never promised. You really have to cherish every day. This ain't to life. The prison, all the bullshit, the politics. You just gotta live life. You be there for the people that actually love you and care for you. You know, when I was diagnosed, I was on my deathbed. I thought all the homeboys, everybody was gonna be there. I was literally supposed to die. The only person that showed up was my wife, and my son would have been there too, but kids weren't allowed in the hospital because of COVID. It just goes to show you, ain't nobody there for you. Only the real ones that have been there. And, you know.
How about this? You want to give a message to your son?
You know, I always love you, and you know, I hope you get to know. You know, I hope you learn from all this. Basically.
Well, I think you should make some videos for your son, man, so he'll always have them. He'll always know who you are, and I'm praying for you, bro, straight up. But it's rough, man. You know, it's just, it hits you, man. It hits you. I appreciate you coming on and sharing your stories, your experiences, and we're going to be praying for you, man. I wish the best for you, all right? Thank you for coming on, brother, and sharing your story. It's an important one. So that's it, man. We'll close the show. Blood on the Razor Wire TV. Listen, man, this is a story that, you know, some people might want to see. You know, some fathers, man. Share this video. I think it's important. With respect, Blood on the Razor Wire TV. Until tomorrow, we're out.